The academic word list. What is it? Why should you use it? And how can you practice it? The academic word list is a list of words that was created by Averil Coxhead in 2000 as part of her thesis. It contains 570 words divided into 10 sublists, and they're organized from the most to the least commonly used. But all of them are common across all subject areas in an academic context. It assumes that you have knowledge of the 2,000 most common words in English, which is another vocabulary list, the general service list. There are several reasons you should use the academic word list. Firstly, to understand academic texts, it's agreed that you need between 95 to 98% of coverage, which means the amount of vocabulary that you understand in the text. If you have the academic word list under your belt, this gives you 86% coverage on top of the general service list. Adding into this technical vocabulary, and you have the required amount of vocabulary needed to understand properly. Furthermore, not knowing at least 90% of the vocabulary makes what you're reading very hard to understand. And lastly, the more you increase your vocabulary knowledge, the more you will understand texts. In other words, you'll understand texts faster and more easily. This includes when you're listening to academic texts or reading them. At REW, you will get better marks for your writing and speaking vocabulary range and accuracy. And the more you practice directly impacts how much you understand. There are several ways you can practice the academic word list. We'll go into some of these in more detail in separate videos in the future. The most important thing to remember is that whatever you do must be engaging and meaningful to you. This means that you're motivated and focused on what you're doing. You can make your own gap fill or highlight the academic word lists from a text, which means you can then learn them in context. You can also put your own writing into these websites and check that you have enough academic word list words in there. This should be roughly 11%. Flashcards can help you learn the words, including their spelling and their use. And there are websites with ready-made gap fills, which is a good practice of both word form and the accuracy using the words. RMIT Learning Lab has an excellent academic word list tool where you can print out the sublists and do various types of practice. And you can always use the ILC teachers for practice. For example, you could write sentences practicing the academic word list words and then show them. The last site is based on a slightly different academic word list, but it's very useful in terms of seeing how vocabulary are used, because you can search by word, but you can also put in a whole text and look at word frequency and see how the words are used in reality by searching for collocations. This is one of the most useful tools you'll come across in your English studies. So I encourage you to start learning and start getting those words into your vocabulary as soon as you can.